that was it Larsen or John? I'm not sure which one of you clicked your line on. I'll go with Commissioner J first and then follow. All right, John, you're pointing him, but on my screen he's over here. So Commissioner J first, and then Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions. Second questions I have are for the law department, but if you'll allow me, I have a questions for our sponsors of the bill, which could be Commissioner Daly or Beeler. It's a pretty basic question. What problem does this solve for Knox County?
This is not a problem solver at all. It's nothing to do with the law. It's nothing to do with the federal law. This is just a statement that we in Knox County support the Second Amendment. We raised our right hand and swore by the Constitution of the United States and the state of Tennessee and the Charter of Knox County. And part of this is that we support the Second Amendment, and we, since the COVID crisis has come about, we don't hear as much, but we did. We got the red flag laws, we've got other laws, other states that are going beyond what really the Second Amendment is. That's not what this is about. It does not cover any type of laws or whatsoever. This is just a statement that says, I personally believe in the Second Amendment, and that I will defend the Second Amendment as much as what we can. And it's nothing but besides that. This resolution has no teeth as far as protecting any law or overriding law. This is just stating that I believe that the citizens of Knox, that we should support the right to carry.
Just to follow up on that, when we all took our oath of office, we swore by oath that we uphold the Constitution, the state of Tennessee laws, and state of Tennessee Constitution and the Charter of Knox County, which includes everything. In doing something like this, why are we reaffirming one constitutional amendment and not all the constitutional amendments? I mean, we've all done this. All 11 of us took the same oath, and we've all pledged allegiance, or pledged our oath to uphold all of those constitutional laws. And I just, it seems an unnecessary use of our legislative time to then single out one of those, 11 and move, one of those and move on from that. And then it opens up. I'll go to my second question to continue, discussion, and that's really for the law department. By doing this, does this open up Knox County to further liability, whether it be to do with guns or something else? Perhaps, does it open us up to somebody filing a lawsuit against Knox County saying, any number of other things that are constitutional rights? Does it say you're picking and choosing which ones you affirm and don't affirm? I mean, does it open us up to further lawsuits, which will cost time and will cost money?
Well, Commissioner, it's hard to speculate on what people will sue over. I'm amazed almost every day at some things that come in. I don't see that it gives you any more exposure on a policy decision any more than you've already said. That I take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and anything you do enhance or otherwise to that, you still have that pledge. So I don't see, as long as you're in, it's like being in alignment with the state on any mandate, you have 11th Amendment protections. So if you're in alignment with the federal government, you have protections. If you're in alignment with the Constitution, you have protections. If you're in alignment with the state constitution and all, theirs is limited to carry, you have protection. And basically, we don't vote on anything to do with guns anyway. Under our power, we can only affirm what we've already done or what our limits are. So I don't see where we would have much exposure one way or the other under that we don't already have under the Second Amendment or under the state constitution.
Mr. Armstrong, I've heard you say many times over the years that one commission shouldn't act on items that tell or hinder future commissions, wouldn't this not do that?
All this commission is saying is that they support the Second Amendment, and every commissioner that is sworn in is saying they support the Second Amendment. So it's not in conflict with what every commissioner is required to do. So I don't know that it's any different than an oath of office whereby you're upholding the Constitution of the United States. This would be probably an exception, even if you were doing the First Amendment. Back to your point, how many do you want to do? You're not holding any future commissioner to any standard that they're not already going to be held to above your resolution, is what I'm trying to say.
And just to clarify, you did say that federal and state laws supersede local laws, and this essentially has no legal teeth to it that isn't already directed by the state or the federal level, correct?
Right. This is just a personal policy statement on behalf of each individual commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond to the original question as a co-sponsor?
Go ahead, Commissioner Beeler.
Thank you. Yeah, I think with all that's been discussed and the law director's answers and so forth, the question is, the legitimate question is, well, if it has no teeth, then why are we doing it? I think that there is a perception among a lot of folks, especially in our part of the world, our part of the country, that the Second Amendment is uniquely under attack, especially among the first 10. For instance, I'm not a gun enthusiast. I'm not a gun collector. I'm not even a hunter. I don't have anything against it, but I don't have time and love football too much to be a hunter. But I'm a constitutionalist, and I think that the Second Amendment is so sacred that our founders put it second in the Bill of Rights as they began to amend the Constitution. They didn't put it 9th or 10th or 24th. They put it second because if you're going to have a free constitutional republic where individuals are free to speak their mind, worship as they please, and own private property, then it is simply inherent that they have to have the right to protect themselves, what they say, and their property. And so I think in declaring a Second Amendment constitutional county or sanctuary county, whatever you want to call it, it's a declaration that in Knox County, we do not welcome any mitigation of the Second Amendment rights based on whatever ideological winds might be blowing in Washington at any given time. And we do not welcome any federal regulations that would usurp Second Amendment rights of the people. It's a declaration. If you think it's an unnecessary declaration or one that you don't agree with, then obviously you wouldn't want to vote for it. But that's the reason for it, from my standpoint.
Aaron, if I am permitted to just kind of...
Go ahead. You guys are having a civil conversation. That's fine. And you asked a question. Commissioner Beeler responded to it. And if you've got a follow up, that's that's how we're supposed to do these things. So go right ahead.
Thank you. And just looking at the resolution, I mean, it clearly says Board of Commissioners of Knox County will not authorize or appropriate government funds, resources, employees, agencies, contractors, buildings, or offices for the purpose of enforcing or assisting in the enforcement of any element of such acts, laws, orders, mandates, rules, or regulations that infringe upon the people to write and bear arms as described by the United States Supreme Court. So let's just play a hypothetical. Let's say something changes on a federal level with our laws. It could be a constitutional amendment again, it could be a different law, or let's say something changes on a state law. This is essentially saying that, we would not enforce that. I guess it goes back to as described by the United Supreme Court or the Supreme Court of the Tennessee General Assembly. So, I guess if those are changed, we would have to follow those laws, but it also sort of it mixes words in saying we're not going to authorize anybody to do anything except if. But that's exactly how we operate now, and that's what's so confusing to me. If we have laws that say we must do X, Y, and Z based on a federal or state level, we follow those laws and we implement those laws and we put resources against those laws. So it essentially changes nothing about what we're currently operating under right now, and that's the part that's a little confusing as to why are we spending time and energy reaffirming the thing that we do currently? We don't do that for the other 1 through 7 articles or the 1 through 27 amendments. So that I think that maybe we're talking in the same thing, but that's just confusing as to why to single this one out, unless it is purely for a political gain or some sort of way to polarize factions of people unnecessarily, because we do this now.
Okay. I'm not sure. Commissioner Beerley, you've already weighed in. Commissioner Jay, you had a follow-up. I'm going to move down the list here. I know Commissioner Schoonmaker had